Welcome back. Today, we're stepping into a microscopic world. Ever wonder how engineers actually map out the impossibly complex layouts of the computer chips powering our everyday lives? Well, today we're going to demystify VLSI chip layout by exploring MOS layers and the incredibly cool visual language of chip design, stick diagrams.
Okay, let's dive right in. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the physical MOS layers. Second, enter the stick diagram. Third, the NMOS color code. Fourth, drawing the transistor. Fifth, upgrading to CMOS. And finally, the big picture.
All right, first step, the physical MOS layers.
If you've ever seen a silicon wafer under a glowing microscope, you know it looks like this impossibly complex, totally flat maze of circuits. Grounding ourselves in that sheer physical complexity is super important. What you're looking at is the absolute foundation of modern tech, packing literally billions of components onto a sliver of silicon no bigger than your fingernail. But to actually understand how we design this stuff, we have to realize one crucial thing. It isn't actually flat at all. Right, what looks flat from a bird's eye view is actually this massive 3D microscopic layer cake. In MOS, or metal oxide semiconductor fabrication, materials are carefully deposited or patterned onto the wafer in distinct stacked layers. And each of these layers has a highly specific structural and electrical job to do. They're what literally define how the transistors operate and how the whole circuit connects together.
So getting a handle on these layers is absolutely fundamental to VLSI design. There are 6 primary MOS layers you really need to know. First, there's the diffusion or active layer. That's the source and drain of your transistors. Then the polysilicon layer, which forms the all-important gate. Third is metal, which is basically the wiring tying the whole shebang together. Fourth, we've got contacts and vias. Think of these as tiny vertical tunnels connecting the different layers. Fifth is the well or substrate, which is the actual foundation where the transistors are fabricated. And lastly, the field oxide layer. This acts like a protective wall to isolate devices and keep things from leaking. Grasping these physical building blocks, that's step 1.
Moving on to part 2, enter the stick diagram.
So, that brings us to a massive practical challenge. How on earth do engineers actually design this kind of multi-layered microscopic complexity without just getting completely lost in the weeds? I mean, you obviously can't just hand sketch a billion 3D layer cakes. We need a really elegant engineering solution. And the answer is beautifully simple. It's summed up perfectly by this quote from our sources. A stick diagram is a cartoon of a layout. I love that. It's such a brilliant way to take a wildly intimidating engineering concept and make it super accessible. Let's nail down exactly what that means. A stick diagram is a diagrammatic representation of a chip layout. It abstracts the model for design, essentially acting as the perfect bridge between your traditional, purely logical transistor schematic and that incredibly dense final physical layout. Basically, a designer is drawing a freehand sketch using specific colored lines to represent all those physical 3D layers we were just talking about, which perfectly cues up our third section, the NMOS color code. Think of this table as basically a Rosetta Stone for chip designers. It anchors those abstract colors right back to the physical reality. Check it out. We use green for the diffusion layer. Again, that's your source and drain. We use red for the polysilicon layer, representing the gate. Metal interconnections, those are blue. Now, when we need to connect layers vertically using a contact or a via, we mark that spot with black or brown. And that foundational well or substrate layer we mentioned, that's marked in yellow. This specific color code is an absolute standard across VLSI design workflows. Now let's see how this plays out when we get into the nitty-gritty of NMOS design. This reference chart adds a bit more technical depth. You can see how the colors map not just to the physical layers, but to specific stick encoding symbols. For example, look at the horizontal lines with a little vertical tick. It even shows their CIF layer code names, like ND for N diffusion and P for polysilicon. But really, the big takeaway here is just learning the vocabulary. Green is N diffusion, red is polysilicon, blue is metal 1.
Okay, section 4, drawing the transistor.
Now, what's really fascinating about this slide is how simple the magic trick of stick diagrams truly is. Just look at the N-type enhancement mode transistor. How do you actually draw a transistor? You literally just cross the red line over the green line. That's it. Wherever red polysilicon crosses green N diffusion, boom, a transistor is abstracted. You've got your source, gate, and drain right there. Right below that, an N-type depletion mode transistor is drawn almost exactly the same way, but it just adds a yellow N implant square. It is such a highly visual, totally intuitive way to draft really complex circuits.
All right, let's step it up. Section 5, upgrading to CMOS.
So standard monochrome or simple NMOS encoding is fantastic for the basics. But let's be real, modern chip design primarily uses CMOS, complementary metal oxide semiconductor. And the thing is, when we upgrade to a double metal CMOS process, the routing complexity just goes entirely through the roof. Our simple little color palette, it needs a major expansion to handle all the new layers and wiring demands. Let's carefully walk through these new additions. In a double metal CMOS process, we aren't just dealing with one metal wiring layer anymore. We actually have two. So we add dark blue or purple to the mix to represent metal 2. We also use solid black squares, called vias, to connect metal 1 to metal 2. But the biggest game changer? We now have to map out both N-type and P-type transistors on the exact same diagram. We represent those P-type active regions with yellow. And crucially, look at the brown demarcation line. That's drawn to distinctly separate the P-well edge, so you place your P-type transistors above the demarcation line and your N-type transistors below it. It's just a beautifully structured way to organize advanced logic.
And that brings us to Section 6, the big picture.
So the crucial point here is that everything in chip layout boils down to these foundational takeaways. First off, layers physically define the function. Diffusion, polysilicon, metal, every single one has a very specific structural role. Second, color codes like green, red, and blue standardize the design language so that every engineer is speaking the exact same dialect. Third, stick diagrams perfectly abstract the layout. Remember the magic trick. Just cross a red polysilicon line over a green diffusion line and you've got your transistor cartoon. And finally, upgrading to CMOS naturally adds some necessary routing complexity, introducing things like metal 2 and those brown demarcation lines.
I want to leave you with this final thought. We just learned how simply crossing a red line over a green line makes one single working transistor. But think about this for a second. How do these incredibly simple, elegant colored lines scale up by the billions, literally billions, to create the layout for the exact device you are using to watch this explainer right now? The sheer scale of VLSI design is just mind-blowing once you really understand the basic language. Keep exploring, keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.